You come before your ballet career. You are human before you are a ballet dancer. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Goldie and this is the Lazy Ballerina Club. I had no plans to do this video. I actually just recorded a whole other video that I was planning on posting today, but I just felt like I had to share my thoughts about this. Earlier this week, Point Magazine posted an article that has kind of been circulating all over social media. I have seen it all over my Instagram. After reading the article on Point Magazine, I just knew that I had to sit down and make a video about it. So if you are interested in hearing my opinions and thoughts and my own experiences when it comes to the Point Magazine article, then make sure you are subscribed down below, like this video, and let's start dissecting this article. Let's just start with the beginning, shall we? The article starts with this woman saying, as a ballet student, I distinctively remember being told that to survive ballet as a profession, one must be exceptionally thick-skinned and resilient. I always assumed it was because of the physically demanding nature of ballet, long rehearsal hours, challenging and stressful performances, and physical pain. It wasn't until I joined a ballet company that I learned that the true meaning behind those words, that the reason one needs thick skin is not because of the physical demands, but because of the unfair and unnecessary emotional demands. Undoubtedly, emotional and physical strength go hand in hand to some extent, but the kind of emotional demand I am talking about here is different. It is not the strength one finds in oneself in moments of fatigue or unwillingness. It is the strength one must have when being bullied, humiliated, screamed at, manipulated, or harassed. That's like literally just a couple sentences into this article, and I can just talk about that topic for this entire video. I will say it wasn't until I joined a professional company and I was in a professional environment that I really started to notice some of the toxic behaviors in a professional company, the artistic staff and the leadership at the front of the room that was very different than the ballet studio environment or even my year-round environment. And I quickly realized that not everything that was happening in those rehearsals and in those classes were okay or necessary. So let's keep going. I'm sure I'll say more as we go. The conditioning to endure intimidation and humiliation starts early for ballet dancers. Ballet training leaves very little space for the unique characteristics and personalities of young pupils. Instead, each student must fit into a mold that looks the same and acts the same. They learn that it is unacceptable to speak their mind or to challenge authority. All you must do is smile, nod, and do as you're told. I had so much to say about that. Ballet students become completely dependent on their teachers, and what comes to shape their sense of self is the words, opinions, and attitudes of their instructors. Okay, that was a good chunky paragraph in this article that I have a lot to say about, because that is something that I struggled with my entire ballet career. That is something I've struggled with like in my entire life, if I'm just being honest. The whole smiling and nodding and just going along with the front of the room mentality that is pretty much required in ballet has never sat well in my stomach. I've always been terrible at it. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you just have to play the game in order to be successful in ballet, and the whole idea of playing the game in ballet is honestly kind of disgusting to me, because I am a human being. I have my own opinions. I have my own voice, and I have that voice in my head that is telling me this thing that the director is asking me to do feels wrong, or this thing that this teacher told me about my own body feels not okay to me in the studio. And ballet dancers, starting at the youngest age all the way into your professional career, have been taught that in order to be successful, you have to do as they say, and if you really want the job or if you really want the contract, you have to stay quiet, be easy to work with, do as you're told, put that smile on your face and suck it up, which I'm sure you can gather is just not an okay way to live your life. The idea of everyone is replaceable creates this fear mentality in and out of the ballet studio that can become crippling. Ooh, okay, let's keep going. In many schools, there is little understanding of the psychology. Not every child learns and develops the same, and they have different needs and body types. Rather than fostering care, empathy, and creativity, ballet training encourages a survival of the fittest mentality. This can easily lead dancers to believe that ballet is only for the strong-minded people. On the way, we lose a staggering number of beautiful artists who are just as able, only too vulnerable. From my own years in ballet school, I remember my teacher comparing me to other students. Don't worry, I'll be talking about that. Calling me a cloud head and a lethargic snail, and continuously mocking me for my weight. There were some wonderful moments as well. Moments when I felt ecstatic on stage or after a well-executed rehearsal, or when I felt I was cared for by a teacher who believed in me and my individualistic abilities. But even then, fear and insecurity shadowed every accomplishment. Let's start with the comparing in the ballet studio, because this is such a normal practice that ballet teachers and artistic staff do inside of the ballet studio, and I think it is so, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's so destructive. I remember my teacher calling me cloud head or lethargic snail and continuously mocking me for my weight. If you are new to this channel, this is the Lazy Ballerina Club channel. I don't know if I've ever talked about why I've named it the Lazy Ballerina Club. I came up with the name ironically through my own relationship with ballet. My whole entire life, I've had the same exact conversation with every single ballet teacher that's ever been in my ballet journey, and the whole conversation was pretty much, Goldie, you have so much potential, you can go so far, but you are really lacking the work ethic, or you don't have that drive in you that the other girls have in the studio, or if I just work more like blank girl in the ballet studio, I would be much more successful in my ballet career. After hearing that over and over and over and over and over and over again, I would sit back and be like, okay, I want to be successful, I want to become a professional, and if these teachers are telling me this, then this is what I have to do to actually have a career. I was never the dancer that was at the front of the room, right in the teachers' faces. That is just me. That has always been me, and I think that is okay because I have had a professional career. I've made it in the ballet world. It wasn't until I was in a meeting with my artistic director at a company where he was telling me, in order to get that role that you want, or in order to be promoted, maybe take a look at that blank girl dancer in the room and try to be more like her or emulate her work ethic and blah, 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 blah. I will never be that other dancer. I will never work the same way that she does. I am not her, and I will never be her, and the only person that I am is me. I just remembered feeling so frustrated because that did no good for my motivation or inspiration when going back into the studio the next day. I was looking at myself in the mirror, questioning everything, and trying to morph myself into this other person that I just was never going to be, and setting myself up for failure. She says there were some wonderful moments as well. Moments when I felt ecstatic on stage or after a well-executed rehearsal, or when I felt I was cared for by a teacher who believed in me and my individualistic abilities. But even then, fear and insecurity shadowed every accomplishment. It's really sad because the environment that the ballet world has created for us dancers is totally based on fear. Okay, then she continues and says, this hostile environment continues from ballet schools to company life. In most cases, directors, ballet masters, and choreographers are authority figures that more often than not hold all of the ropes in their hands, making decisions that affect the lives of young, impressionable artists. Unfortunately, dancers too easily become marionette dolls who move, act, and do what they are told with no personal agency and with the fear of being replaced or pushed aside at any moment. When I was at my previous company, we had a ballet that was scheduled on the rep for that season, and a choreographer came in and he set the ballet, and even from day one, we knew this choreographer was not okay. He was already disrespecting all of us in the studio. And he was even disrespecting the ballet masters and ballet mistresses in the studio. He was clearly medicated, if you know what I mean. I feel like we all compared it to those old Hollywood directors that started this whole Me Too movement type of thing, if you know what I'm talking about. Once we started the process, it really only got worse from there. We start the audition process, and very, very quickly, I was just having these thoughts in my head that why am I giving all of my effort in this audition to be casted in this ballet where I felt disrespected, and I felt like the choreographer was looking at all of us women in our leotards and sexualizing us. Then the next thought in my head was, this is on the schedule for this company, and if I were to tell the director that I did not want to be involved or share how I was feeling inside of the room, I would immediately be labeled difficult, be punished for even bringing that to anyone's attention, and the whole entire situation would be turned on me, that I was creating something and that other people didn't feel that way and I was the problem. Let's keep going. Ballet as an art form is not emotionally hostile, tough, or cruel. It's the atmosphere created around it. It is those certain choreographers who are bullies, those directors who play mind games, and those repetitors who humiliate and scream. For some odd reason, all of this is thought to just be how it is. It is acceptable and normal. Many still believe that to create good art, one must be broken, that to produce something good on stage, the process has to involve screaming and shouting, that to get the best out of an artist, one must be tough, not kind. Okay, this brings up another experience that I had with another choreographer, and this choreographer was actually a woman. It wasn't the same issue of being sexualized by a disgusting old white man. It was actually being humiliated and bullied and tormented by a woman. I have never been the type of person that thrives in an environment where I am receiving tough love, or if the teacher is screaming at me in order to make me work harder or whatever they are trying to do. But let's talk about this specific situation with this choreographer. She is notorious for giving you the tough love treatment in the studio, and I think this mentality of we have to break the dancer down in order for them to produce the most beautiful art is pretty much her mentality. This choreographer comes into the studio, she immediately starts tearing dancers down, she tests them with silly questions that make zero sense, just completely tears them to shreds while comparing them to the other dancers in the studio, praising them and screaming, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, oh my gosh, look over there, you need to do it like this. Just to paint the picture, there were multiple people in tears running out of the studio. You know it's bad when the ballet master and ballet mistress are sitting there like they're in trouble as well. And it's just amazing to me how this choreographer is this prestigious, amazing, groundbreaking choreographer, but if you talk to every single dancer that has ever worked under this choreographer, they all say the exact same thing. They all say how miserable the process was and how it didn't even matter how the shows went. They just wanted it to be over with. That is so sad. That is really, really sad. No one should feel like that while they're rehearsing in a ballet studio, and I always say this, ballet is not that deep. Ballet is not that deep. We love performing, we love the art form. Ballet should not make you run into the bathroom on your lunch break or your 5-minute break and sob your eyes out because of how a director, teacher, choreographer has made you feel inside of the ballet studio over and over and over again. To continue with the choreographer that was so hard on the dancers that everyone hated their lives during the rehearsal process, I actually had such an amazing experience with another choreographer that had the complete opposite approach when in the studio with us dancers. She was tough, she was strict, you did not mess with her, but you also respected her and admired her, and she inspired you because while she was being strict and tough on you, she was building you up. She was constantly reminding you that you are capable of doing it the way that she knew that you could do it. She was constantly reassuring that everything that you were doing inside of the studio was great work and that she was so proud of us. She really wasn't doing anything crazy. She was just treating us with respect, and in the ballet world, that is very, very, very hard to come by. We're almost there. I'm sure this video is like 12 hours long. She says, during my 9-year professional career, I had the pleasure of working with extraordinary choreographers and repetitors who created an exciting and safe atmosphere in the studios. On the other hand, I lived in a constant state of fear. I felt that I had no control over my artistry or expression. Every gesture, every movement, every choice was in somebody else's hands, and one wrong move could destroy everything. No matter how unfair or cruel certain decisions were, they were always referred to as artistic choices. During my career, I was told that I needed to have sex with men, be more feminine, be thinner but not too thin, be stronger, be more confident, have more personality, but always stay in line. The list goes on. I was told to rehearse a variation on my own for months for an upcoming ballet, only to see the cast list didn't even include my name. I was told to change how I dressed, walked, and talked. At the age of 18, my director told me that I must have a boyfriend and lots of crazy adventures outside of ballet to be interesting on stage. At the same time, a repetitor told me that a good dedicated ballet dancer must be committed only to dance and spend a minimum of 8 hours at the theater daily. I always felt conflicted and unsure, unable to trust my own knowledge of my body or my own opinions. Whatever I did, somebody thought it was wrong or not enough. I'm going to touch on the conversation of being thin but not too thin for a second, because this is where it gets toxic. I have had so many people in my ballet life and journey and career that have gone into meetings with the artistic staff or their teachers, and the artistic staff communicate, you need to lose weight. They go and lose the weight, and typically they don't do it in the healthiest way. They try to lose the weight as quick as possible because they are still scared that they are going to lose their job. They lose so much weight, and then the artistic staff comes to them and has another meeting, and they say, you're way underweight, you need to gain some weight, this is so unhealthy. I mean, if that's not manipulation and fucking toxic mind games, I don't know what is. Only reason why she went and lost all of the weight was because you told them that they had to, and now you're telling them they lost too much weight. Diverse body types and ethnicities are traditionally not celebrated in ballet, and neither are unique personalities and emotions. But every dancer's history, cultural context, and life world is colorful and personal. Some artists are strong and undefeatable, others are vulnerable. While screaming and yelling might push one dancer to her very best, it might break someone else's. Ballet schools and companies need to recognize each student as an individual. No workplace, artist, or performance has ever been ruined by fostering an empathetic and kind atmosphere. Ballet demands discipline, resilience, and patience, but there is no reason why these assets cannot be developed through care and support. Thick skin is not built by belittling. For generations, we have bowed in front of creative geniuses, putting them on a pedestal despite their ways. But no art is good art if it leaves broken artists behind. But no art is good art if it leaves broken artists behind. I think that is so powerful. Another sentence that I love is, for generations we have bowed in front of creative geniuses, putting them on a pedestal despite their ways. How many artistic directors, or ballet mistresses, or ballet masters that have felt like godly to you? I remember when I was making the decision to leave my professional ballet company and break my contract, I was so scared, I was so overwhelmed, and the feeling that I constantly went back to was the fear of being shunned from the ballet world, or that my career would have to be over once I broke that contract because I would be labeled difficult. That is such a shame, because that is why so many dancers stay in these toxic environments, because so many of them are terrified of the consequence. So many are terrified of speaking out against anything, whether that is racial profiling in the studio or sexual abuse or even emotional abuse. They don't want to ruffle any feathers, if you will. I was actually told that before I broke my contract, that, you know, Gold, you just don't want to ruffle any feathers when it comes to your ballet career. That just makes me so angry, because at the end of the day, you come before your ballet career. You are human before you are a ballet dancer. And it is so important for every single ballet dancer watching this, if you are a student, a professional dancer, wherever you are in your ballet journey, to remember that exactly. You come before your ballet. Your mental health comes before ballet. Your happiness comes before your ballet. And if you are experiencing these toxic and abusive people in your ballet career or environment, you need to speak up. You need to come forward, because you are so worth putting yourself before your ballet career. The one beautiful thing that has come out of quarantine and COVID and this weird time away from the ballet world, so many dancers have found the strength and the courage and confidence to step forward and really start these conversations that have never really been started before. I'm sure you've seen Catherine Morgan's video of her talking about her experience at Miami City Ballet, and then with this article. And I just hope with more dancers coming forward and being honest and truthful about the ballet world, we keep this momentum going and we can actually create some really positive and amazing change in the ballet world. I'm going to end it with this, that you are human first. You are human first, dancer second. That is like my little tagline to the Lazy Ballerina Club. So worth putting yourself before ballet. You are worth putting your mental health before ballet or rehearsal or the artistic director's opinion of you. If you needed that reminder, I am here to give it to you, because as soon as you start putting yourself before ballet or putting yourself before anything that is toxic in your life, that is when you find your true power and your true confidence and your true self-worth. And you are looking at someone that has been on that journey ever since the day that I decided to leave that ballet company. And it is hard, it is a process, and it takes a lot of work, but that is when you truly, truly, truly start to become the strong, autonomous person that you want to be in your life, with ballet and after ballet. I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope by sharing my experiences and opinions and thoughts and feelings about this article, it helps you. And I will stop talking because I am scared to edit this video and realize that it is like 45 minutes long. So like always, make sure you are subscribed down below, like this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye guys.